SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
A new twist in the Malema saga and Kruger National Park staff linked to rhino poaching. Good afternoon. SABC News reliably understands ANC Youth League President Julius Malema is unavailable to hear the decision of the party's disciplinary committee regarding his arguments in mitigation of his suspension. The Derek Hanekom-chaired committee is required to first inform the parties involved in disciplinary proceedings before releasing them to the public. However, it's understood Malema is in Limpopo and is not available to hear the decision. Tulasizwe Simelane reports.
It's unclear what implications Malema's absence will have on the disciplinary committee's plans to release its decision later this afternoon. It won't be the first time, though, that he's unavailable to hear the committee's ruling. In November last year, Malema was writing exams at UNISA's Limpopo campus when the same committee delivered a guilty verdict against him. Much speculation also surrounds what happens after the NDC delivers its much-anticipated sanction, with the very real possibility that Malema could again approach the Disciplinary Committee of Appeals or even approach the ANC's National Executive if the decision doesn't go his way. Tulasizwe Simelane, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Kruger National Park spokesperson William Mabasa has condemned staff members who help poach rhino. Mabasa says they're expected to protect animals, not kill them. This comes after 4 staff members were arrested in connection with the poaching of 2 rhino yesterday. Police are searching for a 5th suspect. One of the arrested suspects is said to have been among the rangers on strike. A reported 8 rhino have been killed in the park since the strike started, but some of the striking rangers say the number could be much higher. More than 200 rangers at the park have been striking since the beginning of this month. Park management will be meeting with them tomorrow in an effort to resolve the strike. Amanda Kutsia has more.
William Mabasa says it's very disappointing that 5 staff members who have been employed to protect the animals and to uphold the law within the park are suspects in the poaching of the 2 rhinos. He says the rhino horns have not been found yet. According to Mabasa, it is not sure where the 4 suspects that have been arrested will appear before court. They could appear at Skukuza or at the White River Magistrates Court. Amanda Kutsia for SABC News, Skukuza.
Health authorities in the Eastern Cape have opened a case of baby theft after a bogus nurse allegedly snatched a baby at Dora Ngiza Hospital in Port Elizabeth. Department spokesperson Sizwe Kupelo says the mother of the 5-day-old baby boy was admitted to the hospital for minor complications. Kupelo says a suspect, pretending to be a student nurse, allegedly instructed the mother to take a bath earlier today. When the mother returned, the bogus nurse and the baby were nowhere to be found. He says they'll also investigate whether the bogus nurse was assigned any clinical duties during her stay in the maternity ward. A UN High Commissioner for Refugees Forum is sitting in Pretoria to outline a plan for voluntary repatriation of about 130,000 Angolan refugees displaced in the SADC region. Home Affairs Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, who opened the meeting, says government is committed to helping about 15,000 Angolans in South Africa to return to their motherland. The minister says the status of Angolans not willing to return will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Dlamini-Zuma says no Angolan refugee with a valid reason to remain in the country will be forced to return home.
South Africa is therefore committed to continuing to assisting those who want to be repatriated back to Angola. And of course, we know that some are reluctant to leave for a variety of reasons. We are going to be doing everything to assist them to be voluntarily repatriated. But I think it would be easier to look at them on a case-by-case basis rather than to lump them together.
Nearly 10 years after the Kulumani Group first lodged its lawsuit against alleged apartheid-era corporate collaborators with the security forces of the apartheid regime, a U.S. court has ratified a settlement between the claimants and a General Motors corporation. Kulumani says General Motors has decided to embark on settlement negotiations with the lawyers for the plaintiffs in the South African apartheid litigation. It's also called on the companies remaining in the litigation, Ford Motor Company, IBM, Daimler and Rheinmetall, to negotiate with the lawyers towards reaching a settlement. Attorney representing Kulumani claimants in South Africa, Charles Abrams.
The settlement agreement was a very small agreement. There was no obligation on General Motors to have come to the table, but they have felt that they wanted to get closure to this matter, and they have decided, out of good faith, to make a settlement offer of $1.5 million to the claimant.
Recapping the top story, SABC News reliably understands ANC Youth League President Julius Malema is unavailable to hear the decision of the party's disciplinary committee regarding his arguments in mitigation of his suspension.